Maybe just to give a bit of background where I've been involved in this file, so you might be wondering why it's me up here. So I've chaired through the Grains Roundtable, I've chaired both the Trade Policy Working Group and the Market Access Biotech Working Group. And the key file that we've been working, what that is really is a broad stakeholder working group. It's got the whole value chain of industry, including government. And our key file that we've been working on for about 4 years is low-level presence. So through the government, they're developing, but they bring oftentimes issues back to this working group where we can talk about the actual implementation and how it will work, and we've sort of helped them to define the policy. So that's where my background is, and that's why I'm here. And I've been talking about low-level presence to a few people. So just to be well aware, these are the members that I represent. So as Mike said, they're the major distributors, manufacturers, and developers of crop protection products. We work quite closely with our stakeholders, trying to bring awareness to issues, stewardship, policy development, and encourage science and innovation. So I wanted to talk first a little bit before I go on about what is biotechnology. I know I'm speaking to the converted, but this is a study that we just did recently that took a look at what are the impacts of plant biotechnology and pesticides specifically. It's really hard sometimes economically to sort of define that because the increase in farming and agriculture can be attributed to technology much broader than that, to good manufacturing practices. So what really has been the impact of our technology? And so we did a study, and it's called Cultivating a Vibrant Canadian Economy. And it looked at a couple pieces. So for example, in Canada, agriculture generated $70 billion of economic activity. Now this study was done in 2008, so these numbers are probably a little bit low. But basically that accounts for 8.8% of Canada's GDP. And it also means that we're able to grow a lot more and we're able to export these crops. So in Canada in 2010, we exported around $35 billion of agri-food products, and we imported about $28 billion. And of that, the U.S. is our major exporter and importer country. And the imports from the U.S. are at about $17.5 billion, and exports are at about $6.7 billion. According to the study, we also found out that Canadian families can save around 58% on their weekly grocery bills, and this is quite significant. It's about $80 a week, $300 a month, and close to $4,000 a year. So we really think that it's creating a lot of really beneficial impact. We know that it also means we can grow more on the same amount of land. For example, we need about 37 million more acres to produce the same amount that we produced in 2008. And I'm sure I don't need to tell anybody here the impact of conservation and no-till systems. I was talking one time, it was 2 years ago, there was a big storm in Calgary. I don't know if anybody would remember this, but windows actually got blown and trees were uprooted. It was quite a big storm. So 2 days later, it was a conference, and I was talking to some of my farmer colleagues, and he really brought it home for me, not being a farmer, but he said, if that storm had happened on his farm without the no-till and the minimum till, he definitely would have lost topsoil. And not only that, he feels that over the last 10 years, he's gotten about 30% more organic matter on his fields by being able to use this technology. So yes, it captures CO2 and it minimizes the amount of fuel used, but I think we forget sometimes how impactful it's been just to the farmers in keeping organic matter on their field. So our industry is always looking forward, trying to develop new technologies. What are the things that are going to be coming down the pipeline? Well, we know that drought is a major issue. It's predicted that drought tolerance by 2030 could impact about 1 in 5 developing countries. So that's something they're working on, obviously increasing yields. But also as climates are changing, so as our pest pressures are changing too. And so they're always trying to develop new technologies.